Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 9. During week 9, we are going to discuss chapter 11, the self and identity. So, what we are going to start off with first is understanding the self. And as you understand, yourself is made up of various parts of you that could include who you are as far as your personality, what you like, your interests, what you don't like, how you like to dress. All of those things make up the self. So the self is really just all the characteristics of a person. But of course, you can have all of these characteristics as a person, but understanding the self is that you have to be psychologically aware. So you have to have this cognitive understanding of who you are and the characteristics that make up who you are. And so we're going to dive into that a little deeper. Along with the self, there comes self understanding. And so we are talking about this cognitive representation of the self. How do children understand who they are? How do they view themselves cognitively? How are they represented cognitively? And so you have this self understanding, and that means that the children understand that there are different types of roles and membership categories that they are involved in that make up their self understanding, how they understand themselves. So I want you all to think back to when you were 8 years old. How do you think you would have described yourself? For me, when I was 8 years old, I would say I love Sailor Moon. I'm a singer. I love to sing. I'm a student and I am a daughter. So that makes up not only the different roles and different categories, membership categories that I'm involved in, but also my interests, which are singing and Sailor Moon. And so children construct themselves. As children develop more and more, children's self understanding increases. And of course, that also comes along with when we talk about children developing, cognitive development also plays a role in helping you to understand yourself as a child. And so, like I said, as the children grow and develop, their self understanding also develops. And so we're going to start off with how self understanding develops during early childhood, during infancy. During the first 3 months, that is when children are able to be attentive and be positive toward their reflection. So a lot of times you may see videos, or if you're a parent or you have nieces and nephews, if you are involved in a child's life, you may have stood in front of the mirror with this child and say, yeah, that's you. So the child around 3 months is able to pay attention to their reflection in the mirror and to also be attentive. At around 2 years old, children are able to recognize their physical features. They're able to understand what color their hair is, how their nose is, their eyes. So they're able to recognize themselves in the mirror based on their physical features. Going into early childhood, children still are developing this self understanding, but there are a few things that occur during early childhood that deal with self understanding. So, for example, children during early childhood, they can confuse the self, the mind, and the body. When they think about themselves or the mind, they may think that that's just their head, like their actual physical head, instead of understanding that it's their self and their mind are a cognitive representation of themselves. They may describe themselves with concrete descriptions. And I mean concrete, when I say concrete, I mean observable descriptions. So for example, I can count, or I live in a big house. Another description that children often describe themselves is by describing themselves with physical descriptions. I am tall. Like I said, children are able to understand their physical features. I have black hair. Um, I have long arms. I have long hands. And something that children also do during early childhood is they have these unrealistic positive overestimations. So you may have a child who during early childhood is really into t-ball, for example, but they may not be that good because they're just starting off with understanding the basics of baseball. But that they may tell you that I am the best t-ball player in the world. They have this unrealistic positive overestimation of who they are. But that is in contrast to what happens with self-understanding during middle and late childhood. Instead of children during in middle and late childhood, instead of them describing themselves with physical descriptions, they describe themselves with using psychological traits such as I am helpful or I am nice. They also are able to understand that they are a certain race or ethnicity, and that falls into social descriptions. They may also be able to understand if they are popular or not popular when dealing with describing themselves with school. And they also have self evaluations that are more realistic. You can say, like, okay, I'm about average baseball player, or I'm better than most people on my team, compared to I am the best t-ball player in the world. So that is the difference between self-understanding middle and late childhood and early infancy and early childhood. Okay, I'm going to see you all on the next video.